Hi, I'm Dr. Sara Collins. If you're noticing your hair slowly turning gray, strand by strand, spending hundreds on dyes that barely last a few weeks, and have been told there's nothing you can do because it's just genetics, I want you to pause for a moment. Because what I'm about to share could completely change how you think about your hair. What if I told you that the gray you see on your head right now might not be permanent? What if it isn't even entirely genetic? In fact, it could be caused by a vitamin deficiency so common in people over 60 that many doctors don't even check for it. This invisible deficiency is silently stopping your hair from producing its natural color, and most people have no idea it's even happening. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've been gray for years. Isn't it too late? Well, let me tell you a story about someone just like you. A story that could change the way you see your hair. Helen was 68 when she first came to me. She started noticing gray strands in her early 50s, just a few here and there around her temples. By 55, it had spread across the top of her head. By 60, more than half of her hair was gray. By 65, she was almost completely gray. For over a decade, Helen had been coloring her hair every 3 weeks. 2-hour sessions in the salon, harsh chemicals, roots showing in less than 14 days. No matter what she did, the gray always returned. Her stylist told her it was genetic, that her mother had gone gray early, so there was nothing to be done. But Helen refused to accept that. She had read about people naturally restoring their hair color and was determined to try. When I asked her about her daily diet, she described what most people consider a healthy pattern: rice, fish, vegetables, some fruit. But when we looked closer, something critical became clear. Helen rarely ate foods rich in a very specific nutrient that hair follicles need to produce melanin, the pigment that gives hair its color. She avoided red meat, organ meats, and seldom ate shellfish, the very foods that provide this nutrient naturally. A simple blood test confirmed what we suspected. She was severely deficient, running at less than half the level her body needed for optimal hair pigmentation. Her gray hair wasn't caused by genetics. Her hair follicles simply didn't have the raw materials to produce color. Here's why that matters. Every hair grows from a follicle beneath your scalp. Inside each follicle are melanocytes, specialized cells that produce pigment. When you're young and well-nourished, these melanocytes work efficiently, producing rich, natural color. But as we age, especially if key nutrients are missing, these cells slow down, produce less pigment, and eventually stop altogether. That's when gray hair appears. Most people are told this process is irreversible. Once a follicle stops producing pigment, it's done. But research shows something remarkable. In many cases, melanocytes aren't dead. They're just dormant, starving for the nutrients they need. When given the right nutrient, in the right form, these cells can wake up and start producing pigment again. This is the key to naturally restoring hair color, and exactly what we focused on with Helen. Helen was skeptical at first. She knew it wouldn't happen overnight. Hair grows slowly, about half an inch per month, so the gray already on her head wouldn't change. But new hair growing from the follicle could be different if her melanocytes were reactivated. We started a targeted approach. I recommended a supplement containing the active form of the nutrient her hair follicles desperately needed, along with small dietary adjustments to include foods naturally rich in it. She committed fully, taking the supplement daily and adding these foods into her meals. The first month passed with no visible change. Helen called me discouraged, thinking maybe it wouldn't work. I reminded her that this process takes time. By the 3rd month, she noticed something surprising. One morning, looking at her roots, she realized the new hair wasn't white or gray. It had a faint, darker shade she hadn't seen in years. It was subtle, but unmistakable. Her melanocytes were waking up. By month 4, the roots were clearly darker. Not her full original color yet, but significantly less gray. By month 6, she had nearly 2 inches of new growth that was noticeably darker than the old gray. Her stylist was stunned. They had never seen a client naturally regain hair color without dye. By month 9, Helen's hair had a beautiful mix of old gray and new, darker strands, creating a natural salt and pepper look that many pay hundreds to achieve in salons. By the 1-year mark, most of her new growth had returned to her natural dark brown, rich with depth and dimension. She stopped coloring her hair completely. This was her real hair producing real pigment again. If you've ever noticed slightly darker roots among mostly gray hair, that's a signal your melanocytes might still be alive and could potentially be reactivated. That's exactly what happened with Helen, and it's an important clue for anyone hoping to reverse gray naturally. Here's the truth seniors need to hear. The single most important nutrient for hair pigmentation is vitamin B12, also called cobalamin. Most people know of it, but few understand its role in hair color. B12 supports red blood cell production, nerve function, DNA synthesis, and critically, melanocyte function. Without it, your melanocytes slow down and eventually stop producing pigment entirely. B12 deficiency is extremely common in adults over 60. Our diets change, our bodies absorb less, and certain medications block absorption. Studies show that adults with lower B12 levels tend to have more gray hair, and supplementing B12 in deficient individuals often leads to visible darkening in months, not years. Now, I know some of you might be watching and thinking, could this work for me? I want to hear from you. Comment below with your age and the main hair issue you're struggling with. Tell me where you're watching from, and I'll make sure our next videos address your specific problems. So if you've been told gray hair is inevitable, remember Helen. Her story proves that with the right approach, your natural hair color can return from the inside out. And over the next few videos, I'll show you step by step exactly what to do, safely and effectively, to give your hair the nutrients it's been missing and wake up those dormant melanocytes. Stay with me because what we cover next will completely change how you think about gray hair and what's possible after 60. If you're still watching, thank you for staying with me. I want to make sure you fully understand how to give your hair the best chance to regain its natural color. Remember, this isn't about expensive dyes or gimmicks. It's about giving your body the nutrients it needs to wake up those dormant melanocytes and start producing pigment again. The first step is testing. Many adults over 60 assume their vitamin B12 is fine, but standard blood tests don't always tell the full story. You want to ask your doctor for more sensitive markers, like methylmalonic acid and homocysteine, which show whether your cells are actually getting enough B12. You could have normal blood levels but still be deficient at the cellular level, exactly what happened with Helen. Once deficiency is confirmed, supplementation becomes the key. The form that works best for older adults is methylcobalamin, the active form of B12. Unlike regular B12 pills, methylcobalamin doesn't require conversion in the body, which is important because as we age, our ability to absorb standard B12 drops. A common dose is 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms daily under the tongue. This sublingual method bypasses the digestive system and goes straight into your bloodstream, giving your hair follicles what they need. Consistency is everything. Hair grows slowly, about ½ an inch per month, so it can take 3 to 4 months to see the first signs of new pigment. For many seniors, more noticeable changes appear by 6 to 12 months. This is why patience is critical. I've seen so many people give up after a month or two thinking it's not working, but the process simply takes time. Now, supplements alone aren't enough. Your diet needs to support your hair at a cellular level. Start with B12-rich foods: salmon, sardines, mackerel, eggs, grass-fed beef, and if you can tolerate it, liver once or twice a week. One serving of liver has more B12 than most people get in an entire week. These foods provide the raw material your melanocytes need to produce pigment. Copper is another essential nutrient. Melanocytes require copper to create pigment. Foods rich in copper include shellfish, cashews, sunflower seeds, and mushrooms. If you're taking high doses of zinc supplements, consider reducing them temporarily. Zinc competes with copper and can block its absorption. Don't forget folate, also called vitamin B9. Folate works closely with B12 to support DNA synthesis and rapid cell division, processes essential for healthy hair follicles. You can get folate from dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, legumes such as lentils and chickpeas, and fortified grains. Supporting folate intake helps your melanocytes work efficiently, giving you the best chance at restoring pigment. Another key factor is protecting your hair from internal bleaching caused by hydrogen peroxide buildup in follicles. As we age, hydrogen peroxide accumulates naturally, breaking down pigment and causing gray hair. While you can't take catalase, the enzyme that breaks it down, directly as a supplement, you can encourage your body to produce it naturally through certain foods. Include sweet potatoes, broccoli, cabbage, apples, and berries in your diet daily. These foods help protect your new pigment as it grows. Tracking your progress is also crucial. Take clear photos of your roots and hairline before starting the protocol, then take new photos every 4 weeks. Hair grows slowly, so the changes are subtle at first. But over time, you'll notice darkening roots and new growth. Most people begin to see initial changes around month 3 or 4, with more noticeable results by 6 months. Let's talk about expectations. Not every follicle will fully reactivate, especially if melanocytes have been dormant for decades. Genetics still play a role, but even partial reversal, going from white to gray or gray to salt and pepper, can dramatically improve your appearance and confidence. Many seniors find that the salt and pepper look looks natural and youthful, and they don't even need dye anymore. Now, I want to give you another example. James, 72, had been completely gray since his late 50s. Years ago, his doctor said his B12 was normal, so he assumed deficiency wasn't the issue. But when we tested his methylmalonic acid, it was clear he was severely deficient. We started him on methylcobalamin 1,000 micrograms daily, along with dietary adjustments to include B12, copper, folate, and catalase-supporting foods. By month 4, he noticed new growth that wasn't pure white anymore. Subtle, darker strands mixed with gray. By 8 months, his hair had visibly darkened throughout, turning the white to gray and the gray to shades of dark brown. Friends thought he was coloring his hair, but he hadn't touched it. His melanocytes had simply started producing pigment again. Not only did his hair improve, but his energy, focus, and overall vitality improved as well. If you're watching this and wondering if it could work for you, I encourage you to comment below. Tell me your age, what hair issue you're facing, and where you're watching from. I want to make sure our next videos address your specific concerns. This isn't just theory. It's real results for seniors over 60 who thought gray hair was inevitable. Remember, the key steps are proper testing, methylcobalamin supplementation, B12-rich foods, adequate copper and folate intake, catalase-supporting foods, and tracking progress with photos. Patience is essential. Hair grows slowly, and your body needs time to respond. But with consistent effort, you can see new darker growth, slow further graying, and improve your overall hair health. Even partial results, going from pure white to gray or gray to salt and pepper, make a dramatic difference. You don't need to wait for perfection to feel more confident, look younger, and feel healthier. The power to help your hair is in your hands, and it starts with giving your body the nutrients it's been missing for decades. So stay consistent, stay patient, and keep taking photos. Track your progress. Celebrate small changes along the way. And remember, your natural color can return from the inside out. If you've made it this far, thank you for staying with me. Now, I want to help you put everything together so you can take action safely, effectively, and with confidence. By now, you understand that gray hair isn't always permanent, especially if it appeared rapidly in middle age or after 60. What we're doing is giving your melanocytes, the cells that produce pigment, the nutrients and support they need to start working again. Let's go through the complete approach step by step. First, testing. If you haven't done so already, ask your doctor to check not just your serum B12, but also methylmalonic acid and homocysteine levels. These markers reveal whether your cells are actually getting enough B12. Many seniors have normal blood B12, but are still deficient at the cellular level, which explains why gray hair accelerates even when your doctor says your numbers look fine. Step 2. Supplementation. You want the active form of B12, methylcobalamin, taken daily in 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms under the tongue. This bypasses the digestive system, which is important because older adults often absorb B12 poorly. Consistency is key. Take it daily for at least 6 months before evaluating results. Hair grows slowly, so changes appear gradually. Step 3 is diet. Include B12-rich foods like salmon, sardines, mackerel, eggs, grass-fed beef, and if possible, liver once or twice a week. These foods feed your hair follicles with the raw materials they need to produce pigment. You're not just feeding your hair, you're feeding your melanocytes. Step 4. Support copper intake. Melanocytes need copper to produce pigment. Foods like shellfish, cashews, sunflower seeds, and mushrooms are excellent sources. If you're taking zinc supplements, temporarily reducing them may help, as zinc can interfere with copper absorption. Step 5. Folate. Also called vitamin B9, folate works closely with B12 to support DNA synthesis and rapid cell division, critical for healthy hair follicles. Include spinach, kale, lentils, chickpeas, asparagus, and fortified grains in your meals. Together, B12, copper, and folate create the foundation for reactivating dormant melanocytes. Step 6. Support catalase activity. Catalase breaks down hydrogen peroxide in hair follicles, which naturally accumulates as we age and bleaches pigment. While you can't take catalase directly as a supplement, you can eat foods that encourage your body to produce it, including sweet potatoes, broccoli, cabbage, apples, and berries. Regularly including these foods helps protect and maintain your new pigment as hair grows. Step 7. Track your progress. Take clear photos of your roots and hairline before starting, then take new photos every 4 weeks. Hair grows slowly, so the changes are subtle at first. Most people notice initial darkening around month 3 or 4, with more visible changes by 6 to 12 months. Patience is essential, and celebrating small changes helps maintain motivation. Step 8. Manage expectations. Not every hair follicle will fully reactivate, especially if melanocytes have been dormant for decades. Genetics still play a role, but even partial reversal, going from pure white to gray or gray to salt and pepper, can make a significant difference in appearance and confidence. Many seniors find that even subtle darkening of new growth gives their hair depth, dimension, and a youthful look without touching a dye. Now let's address some common questions I get from viewers like you. Can I take any B12? Yes, but for older adults, methylcobalamin is far more effective than standard cyanocobalamin. It bypasses the need for conversion in the body and is absorbed more efficiently. How long do I need to take it? Long-term supplementation is often necessary. If deficiency returns, melanocytes may slow down again, so maintaining healthy B12 levels is important. Is high-dose B12 safe? Absolutely. B12 is water-soluble, and any excess is naturally excreted in urine. Seniors, vegetarians, and vegans especially benefit, as plant foods don't reliably provide this nutrient. Will my hair fully return to its original color? Not always. The longer melanocytes have been dormant, the less likely they are to fully reactivate. But even partial reversal, white to gray to salt and pepper, can dramatically improve your appearance and confidence. Can lifestyle affect results? Yes. Avoid excessive stress, maintain a balanced diet, and be mindful of medications like metformin or acid-reducing drugs, which can interfere with B12 absorption. Small adjustments in lifestyle can significantly enhance results. Remember, the goal isn't just hair color, it's overall hair and follicle health. By supporting melanocytes with the right nutrients, you're improving circulation, reducing oxidative stress in follicles, and giving your hair the best environment to thrive. Many seniors also notice improvements in energy, focus, and vitality as B12 deficiency is corrected. So if you've been told gray hair is inevitable, I want you to think about Helen and James. Their stories show that gray hair can be slowed, improved, and sometimes reversed naturally, even after 60. It's not magic. It's science, patience, and the right nutrients. If you're ready to try this approach, comment below. Tell me your age, your hair concerns, and where you're watching from. I want to know your challenges so I can address them in future videos. And don't forget, subscribe to stay updated with more tips and guidance. Give your body the nutrients it's been missing, track your progress, stay patient, and you may be surprised at what's possible. Your natural hair color, vitality, and confidence can return from the inside out, one root at a time.